Hey guys, my name is Macy. I'm one of the youth leaders here at Lifepointe Church. Welcome to Midweek Online. Guys, we are just so grateful and excited that you chose to be watching this video whenever and wherever you're at. We just pray that the Lord would use this to speak to you. I pray that whatever Pastor Josh is going to share, that the Lord would just be speaking to you. He has something that he wants to speak to you directly, whether you're used to praying or talking to him or not. We just believe the Lord wants to meet with you, and so we're just so excited for tonight and expecting what the Lord has to share with us this evening.
So we've been talking so much about working hard, and I want to shift into the second half of this focus that we have on hard work and real rest to talk about rest, because it's important. Sometimes working hard actually isn't how we're supposed to grow. Doing things doesn't always mean that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense? Sometimes we have to rest, and it might feel like we're not doing anything, but in reality, we're getting a lot done and we're growing. We're getting ready for the next season of our life. There's so much that's there. I remember when I took over running social media and the online stuff for the church. I remember how crazy it was during COVID. We were basically producing television episodes on Sunday mornings, and everything was so done. It was done a certain way, and we spent so many hours editing. We didn't know how to best streamline stuff. We were still learning all of this stuff, and there was one Sunday in particular which was so hectic. The video rendered a couple of times and was missing a chunk of audio, and you would render it again and it would still be missing it. And so we did that, and we didn't get the full Sunday production done until like Saturday morning. It was wild. It was insane. And it was my job to get it uploaded once it had been edited, to get it uploaded to Facebook and YouTube. And I remember there was this one time I got it and I uploaded it on Saturday night, and it got to like 98% and it failed. And I didn't know because I had already gone to bed. I was just hitting upload, and I would premiere it the next morning as we were getting up, and everything was good. So I wake up and I'm like, oh no, this video like totally didn't upload. This was production hell for us. Like, it was terrible. So it's Sunday morning, service started in like an hour, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? The internet went down at the house that I was at, and so I'm like, what am I gonna do? I guess I gotta drive to the church. The church was about 30 minutes away, and so I'd race down to the church. I uploaded it, and I uploaded it with like 1 minute, 2 minutes left before I was not gonna be able to upload it. It was insane. It was stressful. It was crazy, and I definitely needed a nap after. Let me tell you, it was crazy. But now on the back end, after we've kind of settled in, I know a little bit more about editing. I know about upload speeds and downloads and all that stuff. Like I'm better at this, right? And now when I edit, I can let a video render, and I know when to check it. I know where to check it. I don't have to do as much work. And now does that mean that the video still isn't getting done? No. I'm just not doing as much. And so I want to talk about rest, and I want to talk about it in this context of a story with two ladies named Mary and Martha. This is out of Luke chapter 10, and this is basically a masterclass in balancing work and rest. And so this is what it says in Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. It says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all of the preparations that had to be made. So she came to him and asked him, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken from her. There's a few things that we can take out of this interaction of work and rest, and the balance that we have to find between hard work and real rest. And the first thing is this, that we can't just slow down. We have to actually sit down. Don't slow down, but but sit down. You see, Martha's serving got in the way of her sitting at Jesus's feet. You see, while Martha was trying to slow things down and still work, but also try to, multitask and do everything she could to make Jesus comfortable, what he really wanted was her undivided attention. He wanted her to sit at her feet and to be with him and to listen to him. You see, we have to have a heart that is focused on Jesus, not making ourselves busy, not coming up with busy work just to be good enough. You see, juggling too much will start to distance you from the Lord. If you start throwing a ton of things on your plate, even good things like preparing things for other people if they're coming to your home or whatever, it might not always be the best. You see, I think that Satan, the enemy, would love nothing more than to make us so busy and so distracted by what we do that we forget who we are in Jesus. You see, if we can convince ourselves that we can multitask while we work and while we listen to the voice of God, while we hear from him, while we rest in his presence, we'll start to wonder what we're even doing in the first place. It starts to not make sense after a while. You see, I love movies and TV shows. I think that both forms of entertainment are amazing, and both are really at the forefront of entertainment right now with streaming services. And then you had different companies who decided to upload their movies straight to their streaming services and all of this amazing things. But when you watch a TV show and you watch a movie, they both are forms of entertainment. It's something that you watch, but you watch them differently. TV shows take a longer story and they flesh it out and they build characters, and they will even take full episodes to focus on one or two characters. Well, in a movie, you can't really do that. You see, TV shows, they can have episodes that run slower and that have less events, less build up. It could be a very low world building episode or whatever. See, with TV shows, you can stand to miss a few episodes even. You can miss a conversation, you can miss a scene and still really understand what's going on. You can, in some ways, you can even miss entire seasons and jump right back in with the characters that you know and love. But see, a movie is meant to be viewed with undivided attention. That's why we go to theaters. That's why we go and we sit and we watch movies. I just watched The Batman. It was 3 hours long, and it was in a dark theater and there wasn't a whole lot of people there. But everybody is glued to the screen when it comes to a movie. It tells a story that wraps up completely, and if it's good, you shouldn't even want to leave to go to the bathroom. You don't want to miss a single second of what's going on. You see, we have to treat our relationship with God the same way that we treat movies as opposed to TV shows. You see, he's not to be missed. He's not to be casually watched or casually engaged. You can't just stand to miss what the Lord is saying at a certain point and then just jump back in. You have to be able and ready to listen and to hear from him and to rest in him, to not make yourself so busy and so distracted that you can't. The second thing is this, that we can't just hear, but we have to listen. We don't just want to hear, but we want to listen. You see, Martha wanted to listen to Jesus, but her focus on making sure everything was prepared for him made it impossible to listen in. It goes back to that thing of multitasking. You see, let the tasks and the circumstances surrounding her keep her from listening to every word that Jesus had. You see, many times we think that we hear from God when we don't, because we live lives distracted. We live our lives distracted. It takes time to truly listen to the voice of God. We have to be comfortable with him just talking and speaking with us and not being distracted by other things. We have to be comfortable in silence. We have to be comfortable to not be distracted by so many things that there are around us. You see, God's voice and his plan for you isn't something that you just want to catch on the fly. Don't just hear God. Don't just hear from God. Actually listen into what he has for you. You see, even if you find that it's wasting time, even if it seems like I'm just sitting here and it's silent and I have my Bible open and I've been praying and all of this stuff, and I just feel like I've wasted, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour if you're, a super Christian. Even if you feel like it's wasting time, what you'll find on the back end is so valuable, because you'll find your purpose, you'll find your revelations of the different things that the Lord is wanting to speak, and you'll find your identity ultimately in him. So don't just hear, from God, but actually listen in. I remember I was home for these past couple of weeks with my family. It was such a good time. And there was 3 or 4 instances, sadly, where I was talking to my mom, and it was during a work hours, so I would get a phone call or I would get a text message or whatever, and I'd be like responding and trying to hear my mom, and she would get done saying whatever she wanted to say, whether it was like how she was going to pick me up tomorrow, or we shared a car. So it was like, we're trying to game plan all this, and she would stop and she would just look at me and she'd go, "You didn't hear what I said, did you?" And I'm like, yeah, I heard you were talking. But then it kind of set in, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I really didn't hear what you were saying. I don't know. Can you repeat that? And she got really annoyed, and I know that you've been in that same boat, and I'm still there, sadly. But like, this is how it is. You see, while I was listening to her, I could hear that she was speaking. I wasn't actually tuned in to what exactly she was saying to me. The other thing is this, that we can't waste time, but we have to find time. You see, Martha was too easily distracted by less important things. And anytime you're worried about less important things than what God has for you, you'll find that it chokes out the word of God. Although there's a comparison between work and rest here, right? Jesus even says, hey, this isn't a bad thing. It's just, this isn't what I want you to do right now. You see, it doesn't mean that work is wrong, but there was something better for Martha to do, to just sit at the feet of Jesus and to hear his every word. So I think that it's so important that we don't busy ourselves with things that are unimportant so that we can look the part, so that we can look busy. How many people, you just want to look busy all the time because that's just a badge of honor that we wear? Oh, I'm so busy, I've got this and I've got this and I don't have a free day, or I've had a free day for the first time in a month, or whatever. Like, we have to be able to get away, to draw close to Jesus and rest in him. Everything else begins to take care of itself when we do that. We have to prioritize time that we spend with God. We can't just flippantly read our Bible while we answer every single text and DM that comes our way. We can't take time to pray while also kind of being distracted in our mind. We have to be focused. We have to find time to rest in the Father, because it is never wasteful when we do. I mean, I think in our culture, in our day and age, we live in a world where people say things like this, like sleep is for the weak, right? Sleep is for the weak. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to sleep. I don't want to do that. I'm focused in on this thing. But see, what's so funny about all of those phrases being so big in our culture is that if you ever find yourself in the hospital, or you ever find yourself sick, or you find yourself super tired, what's the best thing that you can do? Sleep. Sleep sometimes is the best medicine. You see, it feels like a waste of time until you realize what it does to your body, to your mind, to be able to reset. You see, don't take time that is spent with the Lord and go, well, I was praying and I was talking and I was reading and all of this stuff, but I felt like I was wasting time because I could have been doing X, Y, and Z. You see, I think that we have to realize in this story that we are more important to God, and God should be more important to us, more of who we are. We are more important than what we do. You can never work hard enough to earn anything from God or please him, or even try to make him comfortable. Jesus didn't need any of that. He needed Martha's attention. You see, work is important, but not at the expense of losing and deafening your relationship with the Lord. We have to find a balance between working hard and finding real rest. And multitasking, as great as it sounds and as much as we want to try to do it, it doesn't cut it. We have to be able to learn to rest in God. We have to be able to know him and his heart for us. You see, our doing has a purpose because of our being. A lot of times we're human beings, but a lot of times we get caught in a cycle and we become human doings. We can't do that. Well, our being is more important than our doing. When Jesus expects us to follow him all the way, he means not in a frenzy of religious activity that we do on our own, that we serve. Even good things can sometimes turn into things that become distracting to us. We have to be just ready for him to work in us and through us, even if that means slowing down taking time to rest, being able to really hear from him. I think that these are the most important things that we can learn in this balance between work and rest.
So there's this thing called rest, and it's something that is so foreign to us, especially in today's culture and society. And I mean, man, this really hits home for me. I know for those of you who do know me and you're seeing me around, you guys know just how much it seems like we never slow down, especially in church. Sometimes it can feel really difficult to stop doing and remember that we're not human doings, that we're human beings. And man, I just think it's so important, this word of rest and this thing of not just resting to rest, but also making the time, making the space to not only stop and breathe for half a second, but really take that time to be with Jesus. Man, he's the only one who can really soothe our souls. He's the only one who can really bring life and hope, especially in today's world where there's so much bombarding, just negativity, whether it's what's going on in the world, and those aren't things that we can avoid, but we have to be aware of, and whether it's the impacts of COVID or whatever's going on in our families, we are so desperate for rest. We need rest. And the most important kind of rest is the kind where we get to get alone with Jesus, where we get to be with him, where we get to know his heart. Man, that's where he really communicates with us, and that's where we can get direction and we can find healing and restoration for just all the stuff that we've had to walk through, especially in the last 2 years. And so, man, I'm so grateful for the word. I'm so thankful that our God is a God of rest, that he's not all consumed with everything that we can do, but he's just enamored with who we are, and that he loved us enough to die for us, and then to make a way for us to be in true relationship with him, not just what we think, a God would be interested in, what we can do for him or how we can please him. He really does care about us and wanting us to know him beyond what he can do or even what we can do. So I'm just really grateful for the word and grateful for a God who loves us that way. So man, I just really I pray that you were encouraged tonight. Man, if this is your first time and you're wondering who is this Jesus? Man, that's not the Jesus that I've been introduced to. That's definitely not the Jesus that I've seen lived out. Man, I would just encourage you, reach out. We want to talk to you. We want to support you. We want to encourage you. And we'd love to be a part of your journey if you would let us. If you're interested in seeing more or being more connected with our online community or even our in-person community, please find us on Facebook and Instagram at LP Youth AZ, or on YouTube at Lifepointe Youth Prescott Valley. Man, we love you guys so much, and we're just looking forward to what the Lord's going to do over the next couple of weeks. And like I said, if you're from our in-person and you just enjoy our online content, man, we can't wait to see you in the coming weeks.